network.
I think we have the network.
What it means. Nigeria is a poison chalice that can offer anything to humanity.
Yeah. Now, yes, it's critical for us to look at this social agents who have. We know that the Nigeria system has actually designed this thing to employ these social undercover agents, people like Aisha and other people who would always flow with the people, make the people feel like they are for them. They call them activists. They are not different from the what do you call them those days? You know, they are called the warrant chiefs. They are not different. This time around, they are playing it in another style here. They play the role of the warrant chiefs, where they come and speak to the people, the language of the oppressor, and interpret it in the way the people would flow with it and make it cool with the people. Because I don't understand why she would come and make such kinds of things. Anyways, she's just a distraction. We don't need her. We just have to use her as a means of passing the message to our people. Now, I want us to look at critically, Pastor. I want us to look at what we must do now, and I want to use this Ambazonian leader, Dr. Cho, to give for us to pass the message to the people. Now he made 4 points here. Now this please everybody look at this. If you are out there, Biafran or whoever, you can make it bold on your screen so that you can see it well. He said there are 4 things I prescribe to Ambazonians if they wanted freedom. 1, stop the enemy using elections to legitimize occupation. Now, I want us to talk about this first point. We're going to deal with the points one after the other. Using election to legitimize occupation. Now, how can election be used to legitimize occupation? I think we need to open the minds of some of our people here, you know, to understand these things. Because when you say, legitimizing something, and of course, occupation this time around, using election, how does it work? And Pastor Livingston, please, do you have what to tell us in that?
Yes, there's so many angles to it, which you have to, put into consideration. Why use election to legitimize occupying the minds of Nigerians? So many factors come into play here. Election on itself is a very good way to change leadership. But the change of that leadership is a place where the country in question is peopled by citizens who reason commonsensically. If they don't reason that way, they just float because they are being influenced by whatever you can present economically to ease them of their present problems immediately. 1. Number 2, the circumstances that has put them into the situation where they can no longer think rationally. Number 3, where you dangle a carrot and some of them who supposedly are to think rationally look at the carrot, even if it is rotten, and then forget to be the voice of the people as to mobilize them to resist such election. They flow into the mainstream and start eating from the people. So it's very dicey. As far as Nigeria is concerned, that is one way they will use to hold them to ransom. And if you're asking Nigerians, it's what we are saying now, don't go for the election. They refuse. They don't accept it from you because they themselves have refused to look deep into their situation and take a decision. Have you asked yourself this question? Don't you see can you see Nigerians in two extremities? In the religious aspect, Nigerians are very extreme, but they are the worst practitioners of religion. In the intellectual aspect, Nigerians are very extreme, and they are the worst intellectuals, idiots. Because when you come to the revelational, the Nigerian man tells you that he knows God, he prays, he fasts, he does this. But when the time of test and trial comes, they cannot boldly identify the truth and say, this one that is being done is contrary to the Bible which they read or the Quran that they read. Now, if you come to the cognitive, they look at people, people are cheating, fooling them, and they cannot boldly stand against those people, because when the man comes, he dangles 50,000, 100,000. The Nigerian man's immediate situation needs help financially, maybe to eat for that day, and maybe pay house rent or pay children's school fees. So whatever were his agitations will be dropped so as to accommodate that resources. Now he has played into your hands and you use him forever. Or the people who would have stood to agitate and say, no, don't take it. They look at them and give them a higher amount of money with promises of contracts or appointment. They die down what they say, like Aisha is doing. So what Joe is saying is in a society where people reason normally, that can look at this thing is wrong and say, okay, we are not going to go and vote. We are going to stop. By that way, we'll pass across information. No, if you do it, Nigerians will fail. And even if Nigerians decide not to go to vote, you have to put them under pressure. It is not their will. Such that if anything happens, they will tell you they would have loved to vote, but you put them under pressure. Do you understand me? So to stop election, the best way I think for now is the one we are following. Carve out a people from our people and begin to educate or enlighten them. Like you have the Biafrans who are that we have Igbo Biafrans and non-Igbo Biafrans. Now the Igbo Biafrans listen to us and they begin to follow this enlightenment. Now there are Yorubas who listen to comedians and is Adebanjo, right?
Yes.
The venerable old man that is helping us. Yes. Now, not all Yorubas agree to what he's saying. The very few that have agreed, their minds are changing towards looking at the possibility of not being involved in election. Because I want to ask AY a question. Why is it that you are reasoning like this? There are other people of Yoruba tribe or Igbo tribe that are in overseas. Why don't they reason like this? I mean, when you talk about their psyche being, bastardized or abused, these ones now have lived in America, they're living in Europe. They are still thinking that wrong way. Why must it be that it is few of you that are thinking correctly? So it's a problem. It's just a problem. I agree that the best way is the way we are following now. It's a long way we are going to go. We'll keep talking, we'll keep talking, we'll keep talking until maybe gradually somehow God will show them mercy. Let me close up with
along the line of talking and talking. You remember, we are talking.
Yeah, yes. No. You see, in the way we approach this issue, if you are going to raise an army to fight, then you're not going to listen to the great majority of those you are fighting for, those 80%. You raise your 20, fortify them very well, go and fight, get that liberation, and in the process of your fighting, certain of your activities may not be palatable to them because you have to safeguard your soldiers. You have to protect your mandate. Now, when you win, either by war or whatever, then they can become part of the new nation. You give them rules and regulations. You don't go to and misbehave like African leaders normally do. You give them good rules and set example which they will follow. So that's how the people are doing. There is something the Bible says in the book of Jeremiah. It says a horrible thing has happened in the land. The prophets prophesy lies. The priests rule by their means, even the princes. But my people love to have it so. My people love it. This thing has been from the beginning. Even when they were trying to leave Israel, a great majority were opposed to Moses in the wilderness. Very few agreed, and it was those few that led them into the promised land. So this is the best way, the way we are following. We keep talking. So but if we are going to apply force, we should prepare very well and apply that force. And whenever we take over a territory that is we are controlling to fight the enemy, they must subject themselves to the laws that comes from members of the force. You may not have your right or democracy during that period until the war is won. Thank you.
So that means majority of seasoning. Why I'm going to ask you, because from what Pastor have said, that means that we are still talking about the USA. The USA, that is undercover the undercover and social agents, you know, USA. Now, these are the people, they come in religious ways, they have religious ones, they have the other ones who are just there, part of the people and all of that. Now, before you make your point, Citizen AY, I want to make this analogy so that we can hear it, then Pastor 2 can contribute after you make your point. Now, I belong to a social group, it's a religious group that I was put in, and with music and otherwise, you know, about 4 of them. And before the election, the prayers for Nigeria on those platforms were so heavy that go by the dictates of those prayers in there. I was boiling. Anytime I see this stuff, I get so angry, but I don't say anything because, you know, one of them, I was the secretary, so I didn't want to, especially the music side, I didn't want to use my influence to destroy the minds of people. The prayers there were so massive that if truly these things were being prayed aright, God would have manifested in a. In fact, if they just read the thing, God would send thunder to destroy them and bring the right person. Now, they were praying for Nigeria to the point that people were so expectant. In fact, most of them in the music side of it, we had most of them who did jingles free of charge for Peter Obi. They did it and promoted it on their own platforms. And they wanted something to change. And they had these people, the leaders of those platforms, telling them that God have said it. God is about to do a new thing in Nigeria. God is bringing Nigeria to this. God is bringing that. And I keep reading this, and now, Citizen AY, now, after the election, do you know what I see on that platform? We have to give God glory. Let's pray that God should, the next election, things will not go bad, that there should be calm, and we have to be calm. Let's pray that God will use the courts to set the records now that we want to go to the courts now. Now, what is happening?
You know, you have just displayed the psychological indoctrination that we've been faced with over and over and over. Our people are going through the indoctrination. That is to say, they have been conditioned to believe that there is only one solution to the problem. They cannot think outside the box. And the solution is to remain dependent. Not independent, dependent. So every time they keep going back to the same, and they're expecting a different result. They want to be free, but they're doing the same thing. It won't work. That is the definition of madness. When you're doing the same thing over and over and over, and you're expecting a different result, that is a clear definition of madness. And that is the conditioning. You see, I don't know if I've said it before. They've been doing this to us. Many of us have gone through this process from the ages of 4, either as a Christian or as a Muslim. Remember, we go to Sunday schools in the 70s. I remember going to Sunday schools in the 70s, and people are going to the mosque to read the KU and all that stuff. And they've been conditioning us to respect the pastors, to respect the imams, to respect all of those people. And by inference, we were putting the same respect to the government. So whatever the government said, the government there was no difference in our minds between the government, the Christians, pastors, and the Muslim pastors. There's no difference in our mind. So that's what has been done. And they've made us to believe that the only solution that can be found are to be heard from the pastors and the imams. And the government will take that action based on what they said. But what they don't realize is that the government is actually controlling the churches and the mosque, using it to control their mind. This is about mind control, collective mind control, with, of course, the influence of the US, UK, all of these foreign influences. The Saudi Arabia, they also have influences. I don't know how many of you are aware that we have something called Sukuk? Sukuk is a kind of it's an Islamic bank. Yes. Many of our land, they've got Sukuk 0.1, 0.2 all over our land. And these are ways to control our mind, control our resources at all costs. But we are so busy believing their lies that we're not waking up to see what's going on. The task that we who are going for this, for self-determination, the task that we face now is we have to wake up the minds of our people. If we don't wake up the minds of our people, they cannot do anything. The mind. In fact,
maybe we should remind people. Some people might have seen the signs. Sometimes you see them do a road construction. The rest of
exactly.
You know,
start point, end point. Sukuk.
Yes.
These are all things that you will see. They will say start point Siku, end point
Yes.
Siku,
Endpoint
and they
Sukuk,
put
yes.
it in all our communities. That means
Yes.
that the government has taken loans from Saudi Arabia, and those places, if they fail to pay for it, then that they are owned by Saudi Arabia and those who are running that bank. That is,
and they have terms. They have terms also of the Fulanization program. I mean, the Islamization concept. You know, added to the reason why they give the loans.
See, the other main problem is we don't have a good sense of history. You know, what motivates us basically to go away from Nigeria is what we know about how Nigeria was formed. That's just the main reason.
Yeah, that's true. Very true. Now,
so if Nigerians can go back into history and know how they were formed, then they'll be angry and begin to change. But they don't want to know. They were brought together by somebody, put there, and they believe they. Now, okay, let me just give you something, Kelechi. You know, let me take your mind back. When Obasanjo and Atiku and Pius Anyim were gunning for top posts in Nigeria, Obasanjo was for president, Atiku vice, Anyim was for Senate president. We saw believers gather together in Abuja at Area 1 there, junction, where they take vehicle to go to wherever you are going, maybe around Wuse, or go to Gariki, or go to Karo, or Nyanya. Now, people were praying for Obasanjo, praying for Atiku, praying. And Anyim had problems with them. They removed him from the prayer list and put Obasanjo and Atiku. And later on, Obasanjo and Atiku had problems. They removed Atiku. So you see how confused they are in their praying. I mean, they tell you the Lord told them. That's number one. I show you another one. When Tinubu wanted to go for election, he gathered men of God together. They began to pray. I'm not saying the one that he showed uniforms for. There were men of God that were shown praying for. Father, in the name of Jesus, anybody that is against Bola Tinubu, Holy Ghost, fire. As they were praying for Tinubu, another person, group of born-again Christians, were praying for another opposing politician. And the question is, which one will God answer? You see, we're just crazy people. We're just crazy. We don't know our left from our...
May I say, my brother, if I may interject there, we're not crazy. We're not crazy. We've been mentally conditioned to behave like we're doing. And it goes back down to the Berlin Conference. They've conditioned us to hate everything about who we are and to completely love the very things that is oppressing us. The Bible was put in our hands to do a purpose, for a particular purpose, to make us forget who we are, to make us love the very thing that is actually enslaving us and not question our leadership. So it's we need to wake our people up from the ground up in awareness.
Is that why? Yes. The craziness there, if you look at what it means, it's not madness, it is being unreasonable. That's the definition of that, are people being crazy. They are being unreasonable. They don't want to reason. Because Pius Anyim was the governor of Ebonyi state. Sorry, Pius Anyim was Senate president. This other person, what's his name, was the governor. When Pius Anyim was the governor, what's his name?
I don't know. I don't know their names.
There were two of them that were contending. Both of them were members of Full Gospel Businessmen Fellowship, Executive Chapter in Abakaliki. They can give you their name. Have they given you the person's name? One of the governors.
I'm looking out for it.
Sam Egu. I remember.
Yeah, that name. Okay.
Now, Sam Egu was a born-again Christian of Assemblies of God with Pius Anyim.
Pius Anyim also Assemblies of God. In fact,
born-again Assemblies of God. And these two men were members of Executive Chapter, Full Gospel Businessmen Fellowship in Ebonyi State, Abakaliki there. Now, Anyim and Egu were fighting who controls the political machinery in Ebonyi State. In the process, there was the divided camp of two brothers born again. There were Christians that followed Sam Egu, there were Christians that followed Anyim. And they were each praying against each other for God to hear. At the end of the day, some of their members were killed where they fought. They were all praying. That's what I'm saying. They're not being reasonable. That's how crazy I mean. I'm not saying that they're mad. It's not being reasonable, because if you're a reasonable person, you are a Christian. You sit down and say, you're a brother, you're a brother. Why are you fighting? I thought you should pull your resources together. Egu effectively is the governor of the state, and he's the Senate president. I let the governor do his job. President, you are saying, if people will not agree together, I'm not going to pray for any of you. A Christian that uses his mind will look at it that if I pray for Sam Egu, I don't pray for him, then I'm making a mistake. So I can't pray for any of you.
There you go. My brother, may I say something? You see, the kind of Christianity that we were taught, and there's two different kinds. In Europe, and I'm sure, I don't know if you're in Europe, you will find that there's a lot of Europeans that hardly go to church because they've engaged their minds. In fact, the number of people that are going to churches as Europeans has dropped so drastically that the numbers that are going back, that are filling those places, are Africans all over Europe, right across Europe. That's what's happening. The belief in the faith of Christianity is being propped up in Europe by Africans. That is the reality.
No. That one is a different field if we're going to delve into it. And it's very deep. It's very deep because as I'm talking to you, I'm a born-again Christian. Yes. Do you understand me? And I don't reason that way, because the same Bible that they read is the same Bible I am reading.
Please hear me. I'm not trying to blame anybody. But what I'm saying is that what is being used, what is being done in Nigeria is deliberately being, they are indoctrinating us to never question authority. Now, the way they are teaching Christianity and Islam in Africa is to make you believe that whatever the pastor says or the imam says
is correct.
Golden. Don't question it.
Yeah.
That is what I'm trying to get at. It's
wrong.
And many of us, we've grown up with that from the ages of 4 till the time we are adults. And we are doing that without even knowing psychologically. We need to break that. That's what I'm saying. So I hope that's clear.
Very clear. It's okay. It's okay.
It's okay. So that is the area I'm focusing on. We need a lot of work to do. Those of you that are practicing Christianity, you need to infuse it into the discussions now to awaken our people that, look, we encourage you to use your mind. You need to quit. If this doesn't feel right for your community, stand together and say so.
Because you must test the spirits.
You know, because if they don't, because what is happening is that when you said, for example, now, when they said they started fighting each other, because that's what the pastor said. Once the pastor said something, my pastor said, they don't use their own brain. Once the imam says, they don't use their brain. We need to, if we are going to break this down, it has to start with the psyche of our people, to wake them up to know that they have the power from within, to now exercise within their religion, to hold those who they see in authority to account. So that's what I'm saying there. So I hope you don't misunderstand me. I'm not.
No, I don't. That is why Kelechi and Prince, we have a great job to do in Biafra. A big job when Biafra comes. Because the people's mind, we have a national reorientation program, which we have orientation and reorientation. So
likewise,
it's something we have.
Likewise, in Yoruba.
Yeah, it's something we have to deal with when Biafra comes. But for Biafra to come, it is not all the people. From the way you look at things, God is looking for specific people to do certain things. Even in a given society, within the economics, it is usually 20% that control the economy. The whole 80% don't do anything.
Yeah.
So usually it's those few people that will make decisions.
I want us to correct something here. That somebody who posted something here. One of my sisters here, she said, Mama Gloria Matthias, she said Peter Obi's plan was how to deal with agitators. That's why he lost it. God doesn't answer such prayers. You see now, she's getting it wrong here now, because she believes that the reason why God didn't respond to Peter Obi is because he was thinking of the agitators, dealing with agitators. But now it sounds funny, because God didn't stop Peter Obi because God didn't want him to deal with agitators. But now you see the level, the spiritual dimension now That's it, because of the way our minds have been programmed about these religious things. Now, Peter Obi is contesting for election on an illegal ground, on a killing ground, on a crime design. God cannot approve of his people to join in a system that is destructive, that he didn't approve. Nigeria is a British construct. It's not God's construct. So anybody who, whether Atiku, whether Peter Obi, whoever stands on Nigeria is not going to be in the will of God, because the person is against the people, hence against God, because now you're forcing the people into a thing that they don't.
Nigeria is a lie. Listen.
That's it. So
it is only now that it has come to the forefront. Yeah. And this is the time God is doing certain, because all this while the people were not ripe enough. The few people that should talk like we are talking. You see, the war that took place in 67 to 70, that 30-month-old war, not many people were that informed as to speak for their various nations. But now we come to, that during that war, the whole of Nigeria was against the Southeast. But now, Nigeria is divided. The Yorubas don't buy that nonsense again from the North. Even the Gowan and the T.Y. Danjuma, who fought the war, there are people in trouble. Nigeria is beginning to happen to Nigerians. Nigeria is beginning to happen to Nigerians. So Nigeria is a lie. Now there's awareness.
Big lie.
And because awareness have come, Obi, I'm sorry to say, please don't be angry. All the men of God who called Obi and prayed for him, they were all liars. Their prayers never crossed the ceiling, and God didn't listen to them. And we told them. Do you understand me? Because where there is no equity and justice, where there is no respect for human rights, how do you think you'll be praying to God? The same people who are evil, they're coming to enforce that thing through the same constitution. There was this, I told you every time, I want to make reference. Though I don't like this guy's attack on Biafran program, but he gave an analysis I respected, and so I had to pick the analysis. Told him nothing. It's not personal, it's nothing personal. So if you do something nice, I can commend you. He gave this pyramidical example, where at the apex of the pyramid is the British crown. After it is the caliphate. After that is the constitution. After that is the federal government. After that is the state government. Then below are the masses. You can see how it is, the degree of suppression we have from one level to the other. So the Fulanis answer to the British crown, who sees Nigeria as a business empire.
Yep.
And then they put a ruthless man, the Fulani man, to make sure that this is executed to protect British interests. They don't care how many people are killed downstairs. They don't care about your rights. Then they gave them a constitution which the caliphate can flat at any time. And Britain, directed that constitution. Then after that constitution, have a federal government that depends on that constitution to steal and loot and misrule and misgovern. You can't do anything. Then we now have governors who are now sitting to receive a lot of blessings, both from those downstairs and the federal government, to maintain the pressure on these people. Then we have people, like he said, who have been so pressurized that their brains no longer function very well. So if there are few of us that are beginning to think right, even though we come from the same environment, I think God is going to use those few to bring the enlightenment that these people should get, and then the liberation that we need so desperately.
My brother, if I may say, I think we're on the right track there. If I may just go on, I wanted to lead this to the next point of the solution. That, as I see it, we need. You see, there is no point in us trying to use a solution outside the current system. We will have to use the people to begin to empower them from within the system to go for self-determination.
Exactly.
It's gonna be a long-winded way. But we have to use the laws that the people can use to empower themselves long enough to get to the point where they can demand themselves for referendum. Because when they do that, then they are in control. Because that's where we need to get to. So what I propose is, in the current system as it stands, those two things I said before, the sovereignty thing, I know we don't agree. I don't agree with the Nigerian constitution. I want it to come down. But the people who are still believing in the system, we have to give them the things that they can use as tools to break that system down themselves. That's what I'm trying to understand.
Because even if there's an argument, yes, because even if there's an argument, yes, you're correct. Because even if there's an argument about the definition of people, the superior argument here is that the people is not defined based on one particular people. So if it's the people, then it's talking about the Nigerians. That's what it means. So they can use it as a means of fighting for them.
So we need to, you see, we have to meet the people where they are. Where they are right now is to believe in one Nigeria. And we have to meet them and say, okay, this is your own law. Okay, now you can exercise those powers. Now, this is your own law. It gives you the power to participate by questioning and holding them to government. So when they start doing that, from within the system, we are changing their mindset. When they start doing that and they start seeing that change is happening, they say, hang on, right, okay, we can use our mind. Because right now, they've been conditioned to always pray alone. You can pray, but you need to take action. How many of our people are taking action? Now, when they start participating, that means they are taking action. They will stop everybody from the local councillor to the local government chairman to the state of assembly, the House of Reps, the senators, the government officials, all of the police, the army. They are working for you. When the people if we get them to start looking from a community point of view, the sovereignty belongs to every single community. And when we get the community to stand together within that community to begin to now use the sovereignty and the participation combined in a group format, we will get them to the point whereby they demand for referendum themselves, because they will see with their own eyes the failings that we see. You and I, that we see what is going on. They will see what we are seeing. Right now, they can't see what they are seeing. So
if they don't see it, now that at this point where this election has taken place now, because they all came out to vote Obi,
because they believe in
the impression they gave in the atmosphere is that they are not going to tolerate anything, anything that falls short of the expectation. Now suddenly, this election is worse than any other one that has taken place in Nigeria so far. So at this point,
the worst ever.
Okay, now at this point, they should be angry. But I tell you,
but they won't be angry. They won't be angry.
Yeah, exactly.
They can never be angry.
Exactly. That's number one. And number two, neither can we advocate for violence. But a revolution can take place if the people can look at what has happened and then begin to evaluate their situation based on what is confronting them, so as to know what decisions to take. Are you following me?
Yeah.
Now, if you look at Nigerians very, very well, I'm not being pessimistic. Over the years, I've studied, looked at Nigerians. If you look at Nigerians very well, you see, until something happens that jolts Nigerians out of their situation, they can't react, because as long as there's some considerable degree of comfort, Nigerians can afford to say, let it go. Next election, by the grace of God, let there be peace. So all these things boils down, like I said, what motivates us to speak is what we know about Nigeria, the history we know about Nigeria.
Yes.
So I believe you that we'll keep talking. I agree with that. But it's going to be a long time to talk.
We have to.
It's a long-term plan. To an extent, I might tell you that the Biafrans, I'm not talking of non-Igbo Biafrans. I'm talking about Igbo Biafrans. Go have non-Igbo Biafrans.
Okay.
The Igbo Biafrans and the other regions that believe in the Biafran cause, who are Biafrans, are somewhat ready for a separation, based on the fact that we've consistently had sit at home for more than 1 year now.
Yeah.
So what we need, what we may expect from the other region is a little of this push. Whatever strategy they use, it may not be our own type, but theirs that will also have results. Because as long as, let me tell you, as long as, you see, there was a deft move by the government to select Tinubu, a very deft move.
Yes.
The strength of the Fulani in Nigeria is Yoruba nation.
Yes.
Fulani knows that, because they know that they are not with the Igbos, are not with them. The Biafrans are not with them. Now, if the Fulani knows that if the Yoruba man should back out, he will crumble. Both intellectually, even politically, economically, socially, religiously, in every department of the game. So the best bet he could do was to stabilize the entity, the polity, and still be in control, is to give it to Tinubu. But then there's an underhand program against Yorubas too, which you may not know. That Shetima, who is a known Boko Haram sponsor, is his running mate. And their program is, when they give it to Tinubu, they break the wings of Igbos agitating. Then number two, any Yoruba man that wants to agitate, why are you agitating? Your brother is the president. Are you with your senses? But that same brother is an old man who cannot stand up for 1 hour talking. And it's not coherent sometimes. So if anything happens to him, according to the constitution, the next person that climbs the seat is the Fulani man, Shetima. And it's a non-Boko, listen, it's a non-Boko Haram sponsor. Now, Buhari cannot have given this government to another person who is not committed to the Boko Haram cause like himself. He can't give it to Atiku. Because when Deborah was killed, Atiku saw it and spoke against it. Then he went back and they rebuked him. He changed his word again on Twitter. So Atiku could be rational sometimes. You look at someone, this is not right. But Shetima is a die-hard fundamentalist that wants the Boko Haram to overrule the whole of Nigeria using their religion. And Buhari is a very smart guy. The Bible says, that which you have heard from me, commit thou also unto faithful men, who shall be able to teach others also. There must be a line of a descendant, a generation of committed people. And Buhari has looked all around. The only person whom he knows that can handle, carry out Boko Haram agenda very well and give light, because his tenure is coming to an end, is Shetima. As best candidate to Atiku. If anything happens to Atiku, is coming up. And now, the problem there is, if Shetima comes up and begins to raise a high hand, Yorubas, if they talk, they will kill them in their droves, because you validated this election. We voted your brother.
Yeah.
Right? And if the Igbos talk, the same fate will meet them. We were telling them, don't go for the election. Don't teach you, you're wasting your time. They refused.
Yeah.
So you see, they are held into a very big trap. But unfortunately, speak all the grammar, show all the knowledge you have, the citizen AY. They will not follow you. At least I'm sure Nigerians will not follow you in the next 10 years. Because what has happened recently is enough to cause them to get up and say, no, we don't want. But you can see Aisha Yusufu is telling them that they should depend on the court. And I bet you, some Nigerians, like those Christians who prayed, are already thanking God for the next election.
It's crazy.
Prince wants to say something. I think he's been waiting. Prince, you can go on, please.
Yeah, I like to follow others. I like to take my time. And the more I listen, the more I got so provoked in my spirit. Let me make it clear, because we speak for a reason. We speak for our own conscience, and we also speak so that when it begins to happen, somebody or network, I'm so sorry.
That's annoying.
Somebody will say, somebody said it. My Yoruba brothers and sitting there why I won't listen attentively. Are you hearing me, Ken?
We can
Yes,
hear
we
you
can.
now.
You hear me?
Network.
Is to destroy Biafra. And after destroying Biafra, they will now destroy the used. The same
They will.
game.
Same plan.
Used. It is called the benefit now.
Prince, I wish you can go out and come in again. Let's see if it can be revived. It can be restored. Because we really want to get those facts you're mentioning now.
They will mop up and then fully.
I don't know if you can hear me.
Understand this.
So you can go out and come in again.
Actually, I know. Yeah. I know that even if I come, I even struggle to come.
Okay.
Okay, it's coming in is a struggle. That's what it's trying to say. I think we're not getting you at all. We wish we could get you because you're making some points that I think can deduce from it.
Even struggle to go out and come in. I even
okay, go on now.
Just in now.
So it's going red again.
Yeah. Okay. I think I may.
If you go out and come in, try that. I think it'll stabilize.
Yes, because we are not getting at all. You know, now let's before he comes in now this is a problem. Pastor Emeka made some points here now relating the issue of you know, the Oduduwa nation and the strategy utilized to actually destabilize. Of course, knowing that Tinubu will always deliver the West, and then Shetima is a strong Boko Haram man who is well known in the North. And so they know how to bring this together so that they'll be able to. Now, Citizen AY, I want us to look at this critically because we need to look at this is the alliance program, and we're already having an alliance with our Oduduwa brothers. And now they have been able to strategically draw them and drag them into their politics proper. And now these people now are going to be speaking from the two sides of the mouth. We want Oduduwa nation, but our brother is there, so let's wait for another 8 years. Let him finish up. And then we can now begin to talk about, we can continue from there. Now, what do we need to do now to see that we sustain this alliance and make sure that the Oduduwa people would always be in line with their freedom? Because if you observe now, you discover that most of them are quiet now. Quiet. It's gone so cold. Now we need to work together. We need to strategically do something together.
That was the strategy. That's the strategy of those of the colonials who are sending the proxies, the Fulanis, to do the work. We have to be very clear. This is a strategy from the colonials. The Fulanis don't have that know-how to do it.
Very well.
They've taught them, okay, you do this, you do this. They knew one of the things that within 3 years, they knew that in 3 years, in the space of 3 years, Yoruba nation has gone from being a relatively unknown phenomenon, to something that everybody in the world knows Yoruba nation. They knew that. And they knew that they could not neutralize it by saying, no, we're not going to hear you. They knew that, in fact, if they said no to it, the more, it will get stronger. So what do they do? The first thing is, okay, you know what? We are going to give it to one of them, but we are going to control them from behind, i.e. Shetima. That is what they've done. And the trick now for us is to recognize that. And I want to say something here again. This is good for as a suggestion. We will have to look at, certainly within the Yoruba people, we need to look at the issue of the Scottish National Party. What they did right now, they are the largest party. They control the whole of the Scotland now. They are still in the nation called UK, but they control the government in their own land.
Yes.
And they are this close to getting independence. They started this from 1934. 1934. It'll be 89 years. It's 89 years to exact from now. They started 89 years ago. In 2007, they became the largest party in the whole of Scotland to run their own governance. They won by 1 vote in 2007. I state all of this because we will need to adapt what we are doing. For me personally, I personally believe that the Biafrans will continue the struggle in the way they're doing it. And we will still continue to have our alliance in terms of discussions. But because of the split that they put in our middle, some of us in the struggle would have to engage in a political sense while still allied to Yoruba nation. We need to do that because that is the only way to keep the momentum going. Because if we go now and say, oh, we want Yoruba nation, like you said, they will go, hang on, it's your man is in government. So what are you saying? Go and talk to him. So they've created that split right there. What I'm saying is that we will need to look at that Scottish plan.
Yes, you need to penetrate it.
Exactly, penetrate it. If we don't penetrate it and we stay in the same place, we're not going anywhere. We can talk till the guys come home, we're not going to move. So I am saying that the time for us within, certainly we might start this process from the Yoruba side, and then we'll see how things progress from that point of view. But always, my goal is 1, Yoruba nation, 2, Yoruba nation, 3, Yoruba nation, nothing else. But we need a process to get from where we are now to get into Yoruba nation. And that is what we have to be realistic about. And we have to bring the people along at the same time. That is why we need to be understanding what structures they have now. Get the people to understand that the structure is the one holding them to ransom. Once they understand that, they will join us in breaking it up. We cannot do it on our own. We are too few in number. Right. We need the people on ground to understand. That is the mindset we need now. We need to radically change the mindset of our people. So it is going to be a lot of maneuvering in the system, but always with the goal of getting self-determination. And never allow them, we must never allow them to call us secessionists. We are not. We are guaranteed under the UN law to the right to self-determination. And that is all we're simply expressing. So we must never allow that to happen. So that's what I think, that's the first starting place. I don't know. So I'll stop there for now. I hope that gives you some kind of idea.
Yes. Now I want you to take us to this last point now, where we're going, which we're going
to Kelechi, sorry. The last point you're talking of. Leave it on the screen. Listen, these 4 things you see. There's only one Biafrans lack now. Especially Igbos that are not Biafrans, non-Biafran Igbos. But the other Biafrans who are committed have fulfilled all these 4 points stated. That first one that says stop using elections to legitimize occupation. Those Igbos who are not Biafrans, they have failed there because they were part of the election. But as per internationalizing our struggle, we have done that. It started from Onyendu, and some of us we were doing our own part too. Economic sabotage. We have done that by sitting at home, creating an appealing alternative.
That's where I'm coming now. That's economic sabotage. I think we have not done enough. It's not enough. That's what I'm trying us to get out now. To really look at it critically, because there's a way you can destroy the economy of Nigeria, even if it hurts you, and then somehow create an appealing alternative for that models that's a good model for people.
My brother, but it still depends on one thing. It depends for any of this to take shape. The minds of our people must be awake to the plan as well. If they are still believing, because if you're not careful, if you do it, they'll say you are starving them. The government will use it to talk. So we need really that is the critical area, and I agree with you.
That's why we're discussing. How do we handle this to make this?
You have a point. You have a point.
That's why I added the 3rd and the 4th here.
But it's very dicey. I want to be very careful. I want to be very careful how I talk here.
Okay.
Because so not as to say something that might look as if you're trying to, rock the cart or rock the boat. Because basically what you are saying here, what I'm trying to deduce from your comments so far is a leadership that will carry the people along. You have a program, and the people are aware of your program. You sit down, rub minds with people, and collectively agree this is our next line of action. Because if you don't do so, and you begin to shoot out instructions without, carrying them along, it will look as if, you're just, So I don't want to go too deep into that.
No.
Possibly we may just have to discuss that internally.
It is. I agree. Let's not explore that further.
Yes, please forgive me.
Correct. Now, everyone, you've been listening to the broadcast. It's been a very wonderful one. It's been. I don't know if you want to call in or you want to ask questions. I think we would just have a little time, because we know we have taken much time of our guests, and of course, we are actually looking at how we're going to redeem this situation that we're in. The deception is on the high side, and we need to do something quickly. There are some things we're not going to discuss here, because we cannot just be opening our strategies to the enemies at all times. And so we would always so if you want to call in, you can call in with a number and +212. Let me put it on the screen: 707 898-194. If you want to call in, you want to ask questions to Pastor Emeka or Citizen AY, you want to ask any question, whether relating to but there are some things that definitely that are very, very critical that we might not discuss. It has to do with that. But if you want to ask a question, you may call in and ask a question. The number is on the screen already, +212-707-898-194. We just have 5 minutes if we don't have calls, and because we're going to be running off. Now, Gloria Matthias, he said, Master Glitch, I'm not religious drunk. Oh, please, they deceived us. I understand you, you know. I understand the statement you were making previously, but you actually you put it in a way that sound like you are religiously drunk. But I understand you now. You said you're not religiously drunk. Yes, I understand. So good. Do you
gentlemen know that Nigeria has happened to Nigerians in this thing that happened?
Oh, very well.
Nigeria happened to Nigerians.
Very well.
Yeah.
In fact, the truth here is this. What I see, the truth here is this. Even with the Yoruba nation, they can capitalize on this very well. They can sit down to plan very well. This is a very good opportunity for them to even get the nation and to fight for this freedom very well.
Yeah,
there's some very good, it's not something we just want to say here now, but there's some very good opportunities in what have happened. In fact, anyhow the Fulanis go, there are opportunities for us to explore in this thing, for the two nations, and for us to work better.
And let's be meeting regularly. I want a situation where Yorubas and the Biafrans will meet regularly, keep talking, strategizing. When we come together, issue a joint communique.
That's it.
That our both people will hear. They know that we are now working as a team. And it must be something which the two nations must, organize to reach out to or meet people that think, critical thinkers. You know what I'm saying? We are just three here. I'm talking of expand the thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Regularly, they meet, not once in a while. Issue joint communities.
Yes. Yeah, we need to do that, and of course, get more of our intelligent people who understand what the times.
Yes, we'll invite them on. Talk to them. Great Yoruba leaders.
Yes.
Like as AY is here, Koiki Media is there. You bring our Baba, you bring him and others. Iboho.
Yes.
Bring people from our side. They sit together, have meeting, maybe. Either secret meeting or joint meeting like this, where we all argue, share our points, our people will be listening, so we'll flow on the same frequency.
Yes.
We resonate. Then when we issue a communique at the end of the day, it is not just for Biafra, it's not just for Oduduwa, it's for both nations that respect each other. That way we can facilitate the whole thing.
Citizen, we believe we're going to work with you on that too, to see how we can effectively do this.
Yes, please. We would like that.
We really need to get out now. This is the time to really come all out to show them that they cannot break our backs.
Yeah.
They cannot disrupt what we already had that calculation that they're going to go this way. We have been saying it over and over that they're going to go this way. We know they have used Tinubu to stage the contradiction with Yoruba nation, and then using Shetima, knowing that they can still do without the Biafra, because they know the Biafras are always not for them. But when they hold the Yorubas, they will definitely have enough.
Those guys that did that thing are in the minority. A lot of Yorubas voted for Peter Pio. I hope you know that.
Yes.
So with us, with our understanding, we can exploit this thing to our advantage if we bring our people to know.
Yeah, but that is the problem. That's what we've been saying to people. We said it at the beginning. Many of us have said, look, to vote in this election, you're just voting to extend the enslavement that we're in.
Exactly.
This is the evidence of it. So whether they voted for Peter Obi, whether they voted for Tinubu, all of that, the central problem is the constitution is the foundation, the slave enslavement constitution that we voted into power that must come down. So we need to really work on it. Understand that the only solution they have is to ultimately break apart. For as long as that constitution is in place, and I don't see how they will not. They will never ever change that constitution. Never, because when they change it.
They will never change it. Yes. Never. If they change it, game is over. They know.
That's it.
And you know, my dear friend, that at the back of all this manipulation is Britain. Their business. Nigeria is their business. It is Nigeria as a nation. They see Nigeria as a business enterprise.
Exactly.
And the moment we begin to change, oil supplies will be cut off. Exactly. Their homes will no longer be won by gas.
Exactly.
will no longer support the economy. They are going to die. They know what they are doing. So listen, what I'm asking you now, because we have this opportunity to meet, we don't have to just us talking.
No.
We have to bring what we have to bear to help our people. I would like you to spread your hands. Get your top guys. So that when we gather 8 of us discussing, Yorubas are watching. People, Biafrans are watching. By the time we finish, we agree on one thing. We issue, this is our agreement.
That's it.
They listen. They listen. We begin, before you know it, this corporation, those guys who did this thing, will now know that they are not part of the Yorubas. Yoruba is not part of that kind of attitude.
Exactly.
Yes.
So it's about changing the perception, the mindset from within, like you're saying.
Exactly.
What we're doing. And then we need to, what I would highlight with that is that we need to make sure that, particularly on Yoruba land, and I know that you Biafrans have been more successful. You've got your grassroots on the up and
exactly. Yes, we have. Yeah.
So we Yorubas need to have that connection with the grassroots, even as at the same level. We are going to be where people when we talk about it, they already know what we're saying, so they can then spread that message, because we need that on ground now. That's what we need.
So that we can team up. If we team up, we can fight a common enemy and throw him out.
Especially from the grassroots level.
Yeah.
Especially from the grassroots level.
Once the Fulani man understands you are no longer supporting him, he will just die, because his strength is you. He knows very, very well, because you are the only person that can match the Igbo man wit for wit intellectually in every department. He cannot.
Yes.
So if he knows that as long as he makes you look at me as an enemy,
that's correct.
He's holding strong to power, because you will never support me, and therefore he has a backbone. But the moment you pull out, his spine gets broken. He will collapse like a pack of cards, and that's it. It's done. So we need to meet regularly. Expand this reach. Reach out to your people. Call. Next time we're going to meet, let's be about 6. Next time, let's increase to 8. Next time, if we increase to 10, we can go on maybe Twitter, or if Streamline can take up to 10, we'll bring good minds from Biafra and Yoruba land. We talk, discuss. We want to fight a common enemy. Because definitely, if Yoruba Nation, when Yoruba Nation comes, Biafra Nation comes, we're going to have a good diplomatic relationship, do technology things together, because these are 2 great nations, and we respect each other very much. Those guys up there know.
And the beauty of doing that is because it will make people recognize that Biafrans are only interested in Biafra, Yorubas are interested in Yoruba. Working together as a group to achieve the same thing.
And fight a common enemy. The devil now is the man up north. He's the one. Yeah, he's the devil. He's the one that rapes our women. He's the one that you never went there to kill in his land. You never went there. You wouldn't dare try it.
He does the same thing in both nations. He does it in the Yoruba nation. He does the same thing. He rapes our women. He kills our people. He comes to invade our land. The same thing in Yoruba nation. The same thing in Biafra nation. So we need to do something strategically.
Please, it's an appeal.
Okay. Yes, we will definitely.
Please extend your hand and bring more people. Because when we have people like you thinking and talking, then we're working towards something reasonable.
That's it.
For both nations. I'm not interested in leadership tomorrow. I just want Biafra to come. At my age, what am I? I'm 63 years old. So what am I looking for?
Yeah. I hear you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm very grateful. God bless you.
So much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I know Biafrans really appreciate you, and Biafrans, Oduduwa people too appreciate you. The 2 nations are very, very, very optimistic to seeing that we move them. Some people are just afraid. They want to see what we can do to pull them out. They are so naive that they don't even know what to do. Majority of the people are naive. It's just those few that have been bribed and put in those positions where they can gain, and they're always, trying to flex their muscles and make it look like the whole of the Biafrans or the whole of the Oduduwa people are actually against their own freedom. Just a few of them. But majority of the people are for their freedom, but they need this kind of actions that will help them raise their voice, draw them out of their shell, and make sure that they begin to have a kind of voice that they can speak for them. And you would be surprised that as soon as we get this freedom, you'll see most people who will come out to talk about, oh my God, thank God we're free, and the celebration.
Amen.
Exactly.
I look forward to it.
So God will help us. Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much.
Just one more word. Just one more thing, please. Please encourage. I've pinned it on the chat line. The Citizen AY backup channel, because we really need that to go to get more people and
Yes.
explain to more
Yes.
people, both Yoruba and Igbo, about the steps we can take to within the system, to weaken
Yes.
the system.
Yes.
And I am talking about
And-
weakening the system from within. So
Yes, and you know what
please
we're
do
going to
subscribe.
do? What we're going to also do is that whenever we have broadcasts from any of the media personnel from the Oduduwa Nation or from the Biafra Nation, we keep sharing and making sure we share and take and all of that, so that we can help to spread. They will understand that we are together, because they are really coming against us with our, you know, they take best brains from us and use them against us. We have to match them. And you know, I was listening to the president of Mauritius and Mauritania yesterday. You remember, you know that Mauritania, they have their men in our land terrorizing us, people like Galadima and all of that. But you know what the president said? He said the reason why in Mali the terrorists are just killing and doing so many terrible things in other neighboring countries, Somalia and all of that. But you know why? There's no terrorist attack in Mauritania. And they were asking the president, they said, why is there no terrorist attack in Mauritania? He said something. He said that we already know how they operate. They are very aggressive. We meet them on that level of aggression.
Wow.
That's good.
Yeah. That's a
I said,
already.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he said they know them, that they too are very aggressive, so they don't come near them. Because we meet them on that level of aggression.
Yeah, exactly.
And the reason why other people they don't have the political will, they are just compromising. Anyway,
no, that of Nigeria is they are complicit.
Of course, they are complicit.
Based on religious affinity, they are complicit. They're using religion as a roadmap to it.
Yes.
Because I remember when these guys came to Ghana with their cattle, the Ghanaian Commissioner of Police, it was not their IG, or they killed more than 300 of their cattle, and the Fulanis came and apologized and said they were leaving. And they left. You understand now?
Terrorism stopped.
It didn't stop. So the problem with Nigeria is that they're complicit to it. When Boko Haram members liars with politicians, Islamic scholars, when the president gives, when the Nigerian government pays them 100 billion naira, begging the headsmen to stop kidnapping, it's an indirect way of financing terrorism. When repentant Boko Haram members are absorbed into the army and then trained, given weapons to go and fight, and they're sent in the east, they're complicit to it. But if you decide to deal with them expeditiously, without blinking an eyelid, they'll run away. They'll run away, I tell you. It was tried a little in the time of Jonathan, when General Hejirika was the chief of army staff. You know, Buhari cried out and said a fight against Boko Haram is a fight against the North, because they were killing them.
Thank you so much. Before we round up, please, Citizen AY, I wanted a word for the Biafrans, and then Pastor Leka, a word for the Oduduwa people, just like that.
Okay.
Citizen AY for the Biafran, and
thank you
for the Oduduwa people. Yes.
Thank you, my Biafran brothers. Please, we know. I want to first of all thank you for waking us up, and particularly in Nnamdi Kanu. We didn't realize, many of us, we believed the lie for quite a number of years about Nigeria being the nation for us all. So when they came with the thing in the 67-70 war, people, oh, the Biafrans are fighting. Oh, they are fighting against Nigeria. Oh, we're one Nigeria, we must take one. But we didn't understand that this was part of the plan of the colonials. They were really trying to make sure that, you know, they painted the picture of Biafra as being the enemy, when in fact that the real enemy are the ones who are propagating that fraud called Nigeria. So we are now much aware of what's going on. There is a lot of work that I want us all to do. There is a story I had that's happened on both sides recently, that people were chasing people that were voting for Emiloko and Ashiwaju in Biafra land for voting. They should have voted for Obi, and vice versa. People were choosing in Lagos, I understand, people voting for Obi because they were in Yoruba land. We need to stop all that. We have no business doing anything to do with elections. Our focus is for how we're going to achieve Biafra and Oduduwa. So please, we need to work together, and if any way we can assist in making sure that any ideas we have in terms of encouraging Yorubas to have the deep groups that you have, the deep awareness within your community for Yoruba, for Biafra. That's it. Those ideas we'd love to hear. And of course, we would also continue to work together in achieving that goal. We must work together. Our unity is the only way forward. If we divide ourselves, we are simply making it easy for those who are oppressing us, the colonials and the Fulanis, to continue to oppress us. So we need to keep our eyes open. The goal is self-determination. So I urge us all, let's continue to work together and continue to keep talking. Like my brother has said, we need to keep talking. My brother, elder brother Emeka said, we need to keep talking, strategizing, and we'll meeting up in groups, coming up with communiques. So I greet all my Biafran brothers. We are in this struggle together. Let's continue. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for that. In fact, you said a lot in that. And something came into my mind when you were when Citizen AY was talking. I don't know how we can. I think it's going to be very good before Pastor Emeka comes in. Now, I think we should have a particular, whether email or something, where people can bring in their ideas. It's going to be secret. It's going to be open to both the Oduwa Nation and the Biafra Nation. We can access that and then get the ideas of the people, so that we don't always come out to say some things. You just go there, drop that idea in that place. We utilize it, we come together, then we sit down, we reason together, we can have meetings, reason together, bring out some concept out of those ideas, and then begin to implement them and utilize them, and then before we know it, we have some kind of formidable force, working together. I think it's a good one. So maybe later we're going to think about that, think of an email that we both can access, and then people can ideas. Whenever they have ideas, just like you said, you just put it there. They just say, this is my idea, what we can do together. This is what we can do. These are the things we can do. So that will help us. And we spread it so far on our platforms to make sure that every Oduduwa person, every Biafran has that email, and then we work with that and see what we can do. So, Mika, please, you can go on now.
What about a Twitter interactive forum too, like you once did, where maybe it should be an expanded version in the future? A forum where there should be an interactive conversation, relationship. All of us, people come say their mind, even those that are for against. When those that are against speak, we use superior argument to make them serious with us.
Yes,
I want to please let me ask the name of this elder that from the Yoruba nation. What could you remind me again? Forgive me.
Akitoye. Akitoye.
My respect go to him. My respect go to Professor Akintoye. I thank God for him. An elderly man like that coming to be part of this team is telling others that it is not just young men affair, that maybe it's not our being too ambitious. He's an elderly man. I don't think there's anything again he's looking for in life. So if he's looking for apart from the freedom of his people, that's a very noble thought and action. So my personal respect go to him. I thank God for his life. And I pray that God will give him grace to continually stand in as our leader here. Because all of us are younger than him. And as an elderly man, when he stands to speak and front, people will listen and know that we are not talking nonsense. Like, this is an elderly man. That's a professional chair. Then number two, I want to appeal to Iboho. You have done a good job, but don't let it hang on the way and go into your shell. Because you commanded a lot of respect in Yoruba land. That people followed you. You gave them a glimmer of hope. Somehow they wanted to put off that light. So please, I appeal to you that you should try and be coming out. As Tinubu is coming, I'm not sure he'll be as hostile to you as Buhari was. So that we sit down and interact, This discussion, we are not going to fight or kill anybody. It is to talk to convince our people. I don't see anything wrong with it. So I want him to come out a little bit and, make this kind of conversation have a lot of credibility too. As power comes out, he comes out. And then number three, I want to appeal to our Yoruba brothers. Look, we are two great nations. We need each other. With our collaboration, we can give Africa freedom, both economically, politically, so every department.
In every way.
So please don't allow anybody cause us. What are we fighting for? We want to be free from this guy so that Yoruba will stand as a nation. I can have land in Yoruba land because we have good relationship. We understand ourselves. Just like America and Canada, they operate. So we can work hand in hand. Flush out the bad eggs. They are not helping matters. Thank you so much. God bless you. And my friend, God bless you, sir.
And God bless you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Really grateful. Please, I want everyone to share this program. We have so many things that have been said here. Wonderful, wonderful conversation. Share it on all platforms that you belong, whether WhatsApp, Telegram, Twitter, wherever you are. And also, please go to Citizen Airwise platform. You see it's pinned there, the message column. Click on it, subscribe to it, like it, and also click the notification button so that anytime it's live, we are going to be there also. You can listen and all of that. We're working together because we cannot do it alone. We have to work together. That is why God positioned us, juxtaposition us as nations, the Yoruba nation here, the Biafra nation here, so that we can work in synergy. God positions us because he knows we have like minds, and so we have to defeat the enemies. So please do that, and then we are going to get more information on how we're going to run, and we're going to run together continually. So thank you so much, everyone. And also I thank Pastor Emeka Livingstone for making it.
Thank you, sir. God bless you, sir. God bless you, sir. Amen.
In fact, the discussion here, well, I feel like it should just continue, but we know that we're going to be more next week.
I'm going to walk. I'm in America, man. You got to walk, man. I got bills to pay, bro. I'm not going to stay talking with you. You got to let me go. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? Yeah.
See you guys. Thank you. Thanks, sir.
Yeah, bro. You have a good day.
Next week will be better. We're going to have more. We're going to have a fuller house next week, and of course, it's going to be better. Thank you so much, all. We appreciate you, and God bless you all. Dear friends, stay strong. We'll do what we will stay strong. We are going to get there. Thank you so much, all. Thank you.